You can watch us on YouTube at Falls Area Community Government, or Twitter at FactTV8, or Facebook by typing in Falls Area Community TV. Fact TV Government Channel, keeping government honest. You can watch us on YouTube at Falls Area Community Government, or Twitter at FactTV8, or Facebook by typing in Falls Area Community TV. Fact TV Government Channel, keeping government honest.
Okay.
Okay, before we start, Bill, I have a question for you. I have a message on my computer, and it says, looks like you're on an old version of Teams. Update in 28 days to continue using the app. What does that mean? Is that me or is that the town?
I have no idea.
Nor do I.
Mine said the similar thing, and I just updated it.
Yeah, well, mine just appeared, so I guess I'll update it after we get off the meeting. So, okay, a motion to meeting started at 6:01 on January, I'm sorry, 19th at 6:01. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have 2 minutes to approve today. You want to start with January 4th? Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented by Bill?
Which one are you doing, Joe?
January 4th, that's the first one.
I just had one question. I just never heard of John Schaefer, but I guess he's new in town, so I corrected that.
John Schaefer lives on Cabell Road, and he bought the old, well, you would know John's house, I forget.
He bought the Holstein place. It's across from Jamie's old shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And apparently they're full time because of the virus now, or they're spending much time up here, I guess. So that's the history of John.
So on those minutes, you go down first page under number 5, which is highway. You go down to the 4th bullet point under 5. It says no data on new truck being done. Body form should be Canada.
From, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then the only other thing that I have is on the second page, third bullet point down, working on the conduct. There's no 9 in conduct of the election.
Okay.
Got that? That's all I got.
I have one.
Go ahead, Kathy.
On the first page, we see number 4, warrants. If you follow that last sentence above it, it says sheriff for, it should be his presentation. I have HISS.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Are there any others? If not, somebody make a motion to accept the amended minutes of January 4th.
I have one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. On
Sorry.
number 8, other business, it should be complaint. You left off the T.
You're right. Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, so somebody make a motion to accept the amended minute of January 4th, please.
So moved.
So move.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes of January 4th as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The next set of minutes is the 14th, which is the special meeting we had. So are there any additions or corrections to those?
If I could speak for a second, I noted the duplication present, and I fixed that on my copy.
Oh, the double
Was that-
present? Yeah.
Yeah, I had Charlie Bonin twice.
Your audio is terrible, Bill.
Yeah, it's awful.
Somebody twice.
Hey, Bill, your audio is terrible tonight.
I understand.
Okay. All right. So he got.
Are there any other additions or corrections of the minutes of the 14th?
Yeah. Under number 2, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 lines down. To be voted is in there twice. It's item number 2, 6 lines down. to be voted is in there twice.
Okay.
All right.
You got that, Bill?
And then
Bill?
the next,
Hang on, let me see if he Bill, you're
Yeah.
frozen up, but
I got it.
okay, good. That's all I want to know. Go ahead, Stan.
okay. Let me see, where were we? You just got to be voted, right? That's the one we done.
Yes.
And then one down, sentence is Bill Kearns will check the language and AND, bring it all. See,
Where is that?
on the, it's on the, what Lumley just gonna, from clerk treasurer, line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 lines down under clerk treasurer. To be
Okay.
voted is in there twice.
Are there any others?
Yeah, two more.
Right.
And on the next sentence down, it said Bill Kearns will check the language and AND.
Yeah. Got that.
Okay. And then under public comment, I think it's supposed to be none. It kind of says no-y.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other additions or corrections to the minutes of the 14th? If not, a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second for somebody?
Second.
Okay. John seconded it. If there's no further discussion, all in favor of accepting the amended minutes of the 14th, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, minutes accepted. Okay, Fred, I guess you're on now with the audit report, so we'll leave it in your hands.
Okay. So what I can do is I can do a brief overview,
Good.
and then see if there's any questions.
Okay.
So this is an audit that's done in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards as well as government auditing standards that's required by statute. What our role is to provide opinions on those statements and a report on compliance with laws and regulations and internal control, which we include in the back of the report. So the general fund and the capital projects fund, we're issuing a clean, unmodified opinion, which means that you're following the rules related to modified cash basis accounting. For the library and the trustee of public funds fund, the only issue there is that the investments are being carried at market value rather than at cost. But so we have to tell you about it, but frankly, probably market value makes more sense because there's been significant changes in that, and you get to see what the market value is. What the theory is, though, is that until you sell it, it's volatile, and so you really haven't locked it in until you sell it. But so we do need to tell you that, but that's the only issue related to those two funds. Jumping over to the general fund on page 6, you can see that you ended the year with a total fund balance of $624,100. I'm at the bottom of the first column. That's up almost $150,000 over last year. Some of that money's restricted, some of it's committed by the voters, some of it's been assigned by the board for various purposes. And all of those are explained back in the footnotes, starting on page 25. The unassigned fund balance is that money that is there to for cash flow, for emergencies, just to really keep you going. That was about $163,000 last year. It's about $189,800 this year. I always like to think of it in terms of when do your taxes come in. So, you know, your first taxes are due around August 15th. That's about 46 days kind of running, you know, with minimum tax money. With this level of unassigned fund balance, that's about 60 days. So you're in good shape. That means you should be able to get through the year, you know, unless something unusual comes up, and we're certainly in that unusual category, but should be able to get through without having to borrow in anticipation of taxes and I suspect that's the way you've been operating, being able to live off your fund balance. So that's a good thing. It also, it's there for emergencies if you need to match grants, if there's unanticipated expenditures. So it is important to maintain a pretty good fund balance. How you got there, you can see on your budget actual report, which starts on page 8 and runs for 7 pages. About midway on page 9, you'll see that you actually took in about $68,500 more than you budgeted. A lot of that were grants, and then there was things that went over, things that went under. But in total, you did pretty well on revenues. And then if you jump to page 14 on expenses, again, you had a balanced budget. You planned to spend exactly what you took in, but you spent about $78,000 less. Again, there were things that were over and under, but a lot of it was retreatment. Just that couldn't happen during this time. So between the overage on the revenues of 68 and the underspending of 78, instead of breaking even, you did about 146,500 to the good. So you actually increased your fund balance during this time frame. Next couple of pages are private purpose trust funds, and there's a lot of detail on those back in the back on page 34 and 35. What those are funds that you control but are set aside for specific purposes that really aren't town functions per se. That's followed by a lot of footnotes on page 17 that runs all the way to page 33. Explains who you are, gives some more information on your assets and liabilities. It talks about what debt you have, explains a little bit about the fact that you're a participant in the state municipal employees retirement system. Then, as I said, there's 2 schedules in the back that break out all of your private purpose trust funds on page 34 and 35. And then lastly is the report that we're required to submit that talks about your compliance with laws and regulations and internal control. And we had no findings related to laws and regulations. We had no material weaknesses in internal control. And the only recommendation we had was just a more thorough review of general journal entries. And we know that that's now happening. In addition to the auditors, I think one of the select board members is going to be coming in and looking at those. And that doesn't need to happen on a real-time basis. I mean, that's up to you. That's your own policy. But we just want it to be looked at either monthly, quarterly. It's just that second set of eyes because you've got really good controls over everything else. This is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. And I think it's already been dealt with.
Well, it has. John Gregory is going to do that, and I think he's going to go see Kim monthly, I believe.
And that's perfect. Monthly's fine. And really, it's just a matter of looking them over, asking any questions if things look unusual, just following up on them. And John, if there's any questions, you can always call us or consult, with whoever. But it's just that second set of eyes that becomes important. Yeah. The only other recommendation we had in the separate management letter was to simply at some point do a fraud risk assessment. And I know that's being planned. So that's just a brainstorming session, sitting down and just trying to think, where are we susceptible? What are the things we have to deal with? Is it technology? Is it access to our bank account? Do we, are we up to date in terms of having our system secure if we need to? How do we deal with folding green cash? You've got good controls, but it's always a good exercise to go through and document, just so everybody understands where those risks are. So that's something I think you can do yourself. As I said, it's just a session to get together and then just document what you've done. And that's really it.
Fred, what is the time frame on that for us to do that? Is it
really
something right away, or is that
no? It's anytime really. Anytime you can get to it. There's no rush in doing that. It's nothing critical from our perspective, but we do think it's a good thing to do. So, once you get through town meeting, and there's some time. I know it's going to be busy until then at least, but anytime after that's fine. I don't know if there's any other general or specific questions on any of the information I can answer. I got to say, the fact that we're sitting here at this time, considering the pandemic, that's really an indication of your staff did a great job, Kim and and everybody there, and Bill, being able to get this done. It was a little unusual this year. We did have a person come down for a day, but a lot of it was done remotely. But it seemed to work out fine. I know it's probably extra work on your staff to get that done that way, and hopefully we won't have to do this again. But I guess we'll see.
Well, I can tell you, Fred, that we appreciate it, all the help you can give us. And I really have to say, I think not only Kim, but all the people who work for Kim and the board, I think we're all very dedicated to this town, and it shows the way that we have on the books. So I think we need to continue to do that, and I hope that we will be able to do that now that we're having elections again. So, but I feel very comfortable personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
I agree.
Kim, do you have anything of Fred, or any questions that you have that you need to have answered?
No, we've been going back and forth throughout this whole process, so he pretty much answered everything, or Jenna did. So I think I've gone over everything I needed to.
Okay.
Great.
Does anybody else have any questions of Fred?
Good job.
Yeah, good job, Fred.
Well, it's not me; it's your staff.
Good
You
job.
did a great job. Yeah.
Well, I think it helps. I'm not saying that you have the job permanently, but I think it does help with continuity that we keep the same auditors, because it makes it a lot easier rather than starting from scratch for somebody to come in. And you know the drill now. You know the people. You know the issue, and I guess we trust what you guys are doing.
Well, it certainly made it easier this year, considering that we had to do it remotely. So that certainly did help.
Okay.
Fred, I do have a question. The interest that we moved in for the Walker Bridge account that we're saving for, and I had the repurchase agreement, and it gained $2,900 in interest. So because that's back into the reserve, does that mean, again, it's to the voters or is it separate from the $100,000 that the voters had voted on? Can we still put that towards the bridge? Or I know we're assigning it and I'm assuming it's going to have to be a yearly basis in our minutes that the board assigns that interest to go into the Walker Fund.
Yeah, and it's always, it always depends on the original motion and the article. If the article had said, 100,000 plus accumulated interest, we wouldn't even be talking about it. And I don't think it did. So
No, it didn't.
the fact that it was silent means it's up to the board. You could either correct it by an amended, motion, but having the board assign it is fine too. Ultimately the taxpayers could disagree with that, but I can't imagine why they would. So it's fine to assign. So you'll simply have two components. You'll have the committed, then you'll have the assigned. And you're right, that every year the assignment should be revoted on. Okay. Each board kind of stands on its own, even though it might be the same members. It's a new board each March.
Fred, is that something that maybe not this town meeting, obviously, but next town meeting that we should put some language in the warnings that will allow us to do that, or just a simple assignment by the board fine?
It's probably fine, but it doesn't hurt to give the voters that last say. I mean, you don't want to clutter up the articles, I suppose, but I mean that there's no harm in doing that, certainly. And that's really your call.
Well, Kim, maybe make a little mental note so that next year when we sit down, we can decide whether we want to do it or not. And let's see what happens. Hopefully we don't have any more Australian ballots, so we can explain things.
Okay.
Okay, if we don't have anything of Fred, I appreciate your time and giving us a good report.
Great, good. Okay, good. Have a good rest of the meeting.
Good. Hopefully we don't have to see you too soon, I guess. But
yeah. All right. Take care.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the warrants. I believe everybody signed those, so there's no issues there. Danny, you're in highway. You want to give us a report or whatever?
Sure. So as you guys have seen, just dealing with the storms as they come, we all decided to take today off since we worked most all last 3 days over the weekend. Last I heard, the new dump truck that's supposed to replace the little Freightliner that I run, it may be in as early as this week, maybe by Friday. We're just going over some of the dimensions on the wings and stuff. Other than that, everything's been going pretty good. We've had some repairs the last few storms. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the bills on warrants, but nothing major. A lot of just brake cans and stuff that salt and tire chains destroy. So it's been pretty good. Salt's been way down on usage, I think, comparing to last year records and this year records. I mean, that's been way down for what we've used for salt, so that's a good thing so far. I don't have anything else really.
Hey, Danny, a while back you mentioned that you had another source for gravel. Is that still?
The guy never came to see me, so I'm gonna chalk it up as it was a rumor.
Okay.
If I see him around, I definitely will ask him, but I was told that he was really interested and was going to come and see me, and it never happened. So I haven't seen him to talk to. I do know the person, but if I do see him, I will ask him.
Okay.
Can you give him a call, Dan?
I could, yep. I do know that if the Eastman Sand and Gravel, that pit is getting pretty dry. I don't know. I know there's something out there about an extension, and I don't know how well that's going, but come mud season, we could be trucking gravel from either Coal River Materials or Sososmos. We used a lot of our stockpile during that rain event that we had a few weeks ago.
Danny, I have a question for you. I understand that, and I don't know how this happened. Maybe you can explain it. Is that you got a call from the Evanses and you sanded their driveway at an emergency?
Yes, I got, and we do this quite often, and I have no problems going in to do this for anybody in town. They had an emergency at, I don't even know the name. I get an address. So mutual aid, I guess the fire department or the rescue calls mutual aid calls the state police, and the state police page me. And that's how I get the message. I get an address, and I go and show up for an icy driveway that the ambulances were having problems with, and I sand it, and then I leave.
Well, I have no problem with it, but they want to reimburse the town for the expenses.
I just say a thank you would be plenty. We never have had anybody reimburse us, and we do it at least once or twice a year on different occasions for whether it's a fire or a rescue. I mean, it's a 3-hour call in and a few yards of sand. I feel that they're a taxpayer and that we offer that service, and we have ever since I've worked there. You know, John's been when John was there too. We did it many times. I wouldn't accept anything.
Well, how does the board feel about that? I mean, their offer. Do you want to just say a thank you, or do you want to take them up on their offer? It's surely up to you guys.
I would say a thank you would be good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
And I don't know as if legally we can accept anything.
I don't either. That's why I bring it.
I think it's written in our policy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Danny, that you guys have done that and have done that in the past to other people who are in an emergency.
Yep. Not a problem at all.
Okay. Anything else of Danny? Oh, one more, Danny. What did they give you a date to fix the pickup?
Mid-February, they thought. They say the problem is it's getting really hard. And we've noticed that even on some of the parts we've been ordering, it's hard to get some of the stuff now. And they said that's what'll be the holdup is ordering the parts for the truck.
Where's that being fixed, Danny?
Jasmine's in White River.
Uh-huh.
So it's ultimately up to the select board to pick a spot. It's the insurance adjuster. I asked if he would give us recommendations, and he had to get permission to do that. I just feel that, they're dealing with these companies every day. They know which ones can handle, what on the day or how bad damage is. And he looked into like 3 different companies that do it, and this one came back and said they could get to it, and they called me immediately. They were really good about it, so I figured we'd just send it there. They're the earliest ones that could get it in.
Can I ask what happened to the truck?
On Christmas morning, I slid off the road on Middletown Road and hit an apple tree. They are figuring about $16,000 worth of damage.
Isn't that amazing? Hit an apple tree and $16,000 worth of damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot with these new vehicles out there.
It was. I mean, one of the other guys was with me, and we were shocked because even the other guy said, he says, we're only doing about 15 miles an hour. It was really. It wasn't ice. It was just the roads had thawed out Christmas morning with the rain, and we come around the corner and it slid, and I hit the brakes, and boy, it took off like a rocket, and we almost made it by the tree, I guess you could say, but. It's a good reminder every time because that's on my plow route to see all the marks on that tree up there. Makes you a little gun shy, I would tell you that. First one in 45 years, so.
So no one was hurt, Danny?
No. Nope.
No. That's the most important thing. You can replace the truck, you can't replace the people. Anything else, Danny?
No, but thank you for keeping the roads clear.
Yep. All right, Dave, thank you.
Yep.
Kim, you're next, clerk and treasurer. Do you have anything further you want to talk about?
Probably not, because I think everything is already listed under number, what do we got? 7, 8, and 9. No, I'm good unless you guys had a question.
Anybody have a question of Kim? Okay. All right, good. Okay, so this is on the agenda as a reminder. Kim, you can back me up because I saw you early this morning, but not later. The deadline for town offices is on the 26th of January. And
it's actually the 25th. It's the Monday, the 25th.
Okay, 25th. So, and to my knowledge, nobody has put anything in for the select. So there are 2 openings, and nobody has put anything in. So if you know anybody or whatever, remind anybody if they are thinking about it that they need to do something quickly. Otherwise, it'll be a write-in.
And that's for all offices. I think we have listers, and we have 1 select board member, Kathy, that's signed up already.
Right, but I think the listers and the auditors are done, right? The people have signed up?
Yep, lister, auditor, and Kathy.
Yeah, right.
But that doesn't mean somebody can't, run in the same spot.
Right. Okay, the next item is the articles for the town meeting that Bill sent out a little while ago. This is the final version, as I understand, correct, Kim?
Yes, it is.
So you need us to approve them, is that the deal?
You need to accept them within your minutes, and then they need to be signed.
Correct.
And then we can send, and we can post them.
If there are no additions or corrections to them, or any questions, somebody make a motion that we accept the Grafton warnings for March 2nd, 2021. We need a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion.
So moved.
All right, John, second them. Any other discussion on the warnings, on the amendments, the articles, anything? If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, Kim, so they're approved now. The only thing we have to do, the board has to go in and sign them. Is that correct?
Yep, they're on Bill's table in his office.
Okay, already. Okay. Now, I think the next one is you're interested in the mailing, how we're going to vote. Is that correct?
Right. The legislature, the governor did pass, you might have heard it this morning on his news conference, that he did approve that we can follow the same pattern as we did for the general election. And we can mail out to all registered voters if we so choose to. If we decide to, it needs to be approved by the board. I had expressed my feelings about it before, and I do again, and I think I'd like to send them out to every one of the registered voters, which would be about 506 voters. And there is money in the State Department for the reimbursement of the postage, and I believe along with the printing of the ballots. I found it, we had a lot less contact at the actual voting polls, which is really what I want. It was less confusing than asking for absentees. It was just a mass mailing, and everybody who wants to vote, send it on in. But I need the board's approval if they have any questions, or if they want to go that route, or do they have other suggestions?
How does everybody feel?
That we send the ballots out.
Pardon?
You said
Stan?
send ballots out. Right, Stan?
Send the ballots out. Somebody want to make a motion that we follow the same procedure we did for the general election, that we send the ballots to all. And we can still vote in person if we so desire. That's correct?
Yep, definitely. I have to be there. And again, I've been posting it that you just bring your ballot with you that you got in the mail, just like the general. If not, I'll have them available.
That'll be at the Brick Church, Kim?
Yes.
And regular times, what are the times for that? From 9 to
7?
Yes, 9 to 7.
9 to 7.
And will you let us know who you want to come and count when the time comes? Will you let us know about scheduling the people, the select board and the GPs to come and count?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have any further discussion?
No one moved.
Oh, I thought we did.
Well, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Say again then.
I thought Stan did, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I did.
Okay. So Stan said moved, and I think John seconded it, correct?
Yep, right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So now that it's on the floor, okay, and we have no further discussion, so all in favor of sending out the ballots to townwide, say yeah, say aye.
I'm
Opposed? Okay. All right, Kim, so you can go and make your whatever you need to do to get that happening. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the select board vacancy. I don't know if you all saw the stuff that Bill got from VLCT. I think we have an option. We can post it because we have time, or we don't have to post it. So how does the board feel about the vacancy? So far, we have nobody interested, and do you want to, since the election is only going to be less than 6 weeks away? Yes, Bill?
You have to post the notice.
You have to? Okay.
Yeah, you have to post it by Wednesday, that the position is vacant.
Okay.
But if you read the notice that I sent you, I gave you an option because the town meeting is so close. There's no sense in anybody asking by petition for a meeting, because very likely if you did it that way, you wouldn't even be able to have a meeting within 42 days. So, but people could petition, but anyway, there's no need for it. And the election, it'll be on the election on March 2nd. So the notice has to be approved by you. I would suggest you do the alternate language in the second, which simply says that the voting will be on March 2nd at town meeting, rather than than the whole thing about the petition and so on.
So how does the board feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with Bill.
Yeah, I do too.
So far, we don't have anybody that's interested. I mean, they might be, but they certainly haven't talked to anybody that I know of. So, and they haven't come in to see Kim. So I don't see, there might be people out there, but they haven't certainly, said anything. So if everybody's okay with just taking Bill's recommendation, then I guess we do that. And do we need a motion for that, Bill?
I would like you to make a motion to adopt that notice as presented to you, taking the option of the second paragraph.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? If not, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Okay.
One further thing, please.
Sure.
Authorize the chair to sign that notice.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to add that to the motion then, Bill, or do you want a separate one for that?
Separate, if you would.
Okay, so the motion to the chair to sign the, whatever it is that I gotta sign,
The notice.
notice,
Notice.
So moved.
okay?
Second.
Okay, and if there's no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, any other business that we have? Yes. Everybody, I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but that Kim sent out to everybody today the electric bill. And you see the fiasco with the lights added about $240 to the bill. And I don't know what it's going to do for the next one. So I don't know how you want to handle this thing and whether you just want to absorb it, or they did make an offer to pay for it. Personally, I think we should just forget it, but that's up to the board.
So is the thought on that, that's for those Christmas lights?
Yes.
Wow.
It's the only thing, Stan, you might want to drop in and see her or talk to Kim about it. But Kim and I spent some time over looking at the bill, and there's no question about it. Kim was concerned that maybe they misread the meter, but you can see that the kilowatt hours have just jumped right up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the light bulbs or certainly it went from an average electric bill of $41 to $288. So
Well, part of the problem too on that is that a lot of those lights were on 24 hours a day.
yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
So I think that's probably correct. I mean, just based on power usage, that's probably correct. But I mean, it's just a shame that happened. I would hope by this time next year that situation is corrected somehow.
Well, the sad part about it is that, they didn't follow the protocol, and I believe that Alan had sent an email when he was on the board that he wanted to send an apology for the way it was handled, and I didn't disagree with him. I wrote a apology to those individuals, and I have sent it on to Bill for his comments, and then Bill will send it on to the board, and then we can decide whether you do want to send out this apology letter or just drop it. So that would be up to the board, and you could mention the electric or whatever.
Yeah, because those are two entirely different things. I mean, one is actually electric consumption, and the other one is, we screwed up or somebody screwed up type of thing. Sorry for
right.
Those two separate issues.
So when Bill gives me his direction and I finalize this, I'll have Bill send it to the board before it goes out, obviously, and we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting or however you want to handle it. And if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But they did a nice thing. I mean, it looked really nice for the town, and I really appreciate it. Unfortunately,
electric bill, I mean, just based on it is consumption of power, so that really has to be paid. I don't think there's a question with that, at least not in my mind.
Well, in one of the emails, Stan, and board, that they did offer to pay for any additional electric. So I don't know whether you want to take it up on them or just talk it up as a whatever. So we can deal with that once I get this letter to the board, and then you can give your comments on it and whatever. Yeah. Any other business? If not, do we have any public comment? If not, the date of the next meeting is February 1 at 6 p.m.
Joe?
Yeah.
Can I just ask, when were you going to get together to go over
Yeah, right.
making comments to each article to put into the Grafton News for Wendy?
Okay, I made a suggestion to Bill, and John volunteered. Bill has already started to work on some of them. I didn't talk to John yet to see if he's available Wednesday, and we would go over and make some comments and then pass it on to you, Kim, for your comments, and then pass the comments on to the board for their comments, and then we can decide if everybody likes them, then we can get it over to the Grafton News.
Yeah. I've read Bill's comments, and it's pretty well done. So.
Okay, I haven't read it yet, but
Yeah.
but I mean,
are they short comments though?
Yeah, they're short, and there's one that's long.
Okay,
But the rest of them are a sentence or 2 sentence, 3 sentence
Perfect.
long.
I was just say, if they're simple, they're easier to read and understand.
You can probably print it off, can't you, Kim?
John and I don't have to meet with Bill. Kim, if you're not in tomorrow, but if you want to take a look at them on Thursday with Bill and you want to make the changes, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, as long as we have the comments that mean something to the voters, so that we don't get some surprise reactions, I think that's really all that counts. And then the board can approve them either verbally or by email, or we put them on the they have to go out to the paper soon. I think that's the problem.
Monday, the latest.
Yeah, I think.
So you're lacking one, but it's not ours. It's from the shall the voters of the town of Grafton approve of the withdrawal. That would probably come from Jack or somebody.
We were going to ask Hardy, I thought, if he could just give us a sentence or two as the importance of this.
Hardy, can you do that?
He's off.
No, he's on.
He's still on.
He's still on?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Oh, can you? Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
The article for rescinding from the union, allowing Westminster to dissolve.
Yeah.
Can you give us a 1 or 2 sentence to put under the article to advertise in the Grafton News the importance of that article?
Sure. Yes, I'll talk with Jack, and we will come up with something. Yes. But I think we'll be discussing this at an open meeting, I believe, at some point before the town vote.
Right, but at the pre-town meeting, but some people might not attend, so it'd be nice to have it in Grafton News so they could see it.
And can I just say, it can be more than 2 sentences. This is Wendy. It can be more than 2 sentences. It doesn't have to be 2 sentences. It can be a paragraph.
I know, but I'm just thinking of the public and the reading of it all.
I know. I agree.
Okay.
Bill, did you send this to everybody?
Or me, I sent it I was asked by Joe to send it to you, and that you were going to meet with me. I told Joe I would make comments before we got together, and that's what I did. I just sent it to you and Joe. You can send it to everybody.
Send it to everybody and let them make the comments. Then John and I don't have to meet. That would be better. I don't want either need to meet. I didn't realize you were going to do it so quick, and then I figured that then you could get it to the board on Thursday, and Kim would be in on Thursday, and then we can get it finalized. But if you already had done it, and John, I haven't read it. If John thinks it's okay, then by all means send it to the board, and you can meet with Kim on Thursday. Fine with me. The quicker the better. Hardy, just remember that there is a deadline on the paper. Wendy, what is the deadline date?
Monday would be great, actually.
Okay. So you have to get the comments to I guess to Kim or to the board or whatever by Monday, before Monday. Does that work?
Works for me.
Okay. I mean, I don't know about Jax. Sometimes he's not around, but.
I believe he's around.
Okay, good. I hope he is. All right. Okay, thank you for reminding.
Joe?
Yes,
Joe, I have a comment under public comment.
go ahead.
When I announced my resignation, one or two board members asked me about the village park. And my reply I want to share with the whole board is I can still work on the village park under a volunteer agreement and would be willing to do that. I have, as far as the timber sale goes, the contract's there. Tim's administers the sale, so that to me is pretty well taken care of. He'll touch base with the board or Bill. I have materials to make the entry sign that we have talked about and the design. I would be willing to make that. I have a design for the kiosk. I would need to buy some pressure treated material, and when that, if the board wants me to continue as a volunteer, I would give you a budget of what the materials would cost, and if you're okay with that, then I would get the materials and create the kiosk. So I just wanted to share that so the whole board knew that.
Well, thank you, Alan. I would hope that you would stay in tune, in touch, and help us with the park because you have done a lot of good work there. And I know that Tim, he's going to let the board know. But if you talk to him on a regular basis and you could keep Bill apprised of when they're going to log or if he has any questions, then we can deal with that. Be easier.
Yep. Also, I should include in the offer, if it's acceptable with the board, my friend Rick White, retired forester and trails recreation person. The two of us would sign a volunteer agreement again and do the hazard trees, which this year, unless we have a big storm or something, should be a lot less work than last year. So
that'd be great.
Plan to do that.
That'd be great. Any other public comment? Okay, if not, just another reminder, the next meeting, it's at 6 o'clock on February 1st via Microsoft Teams. Have a good night, everybody. And when Bill sends out the little blurbs on the articles, please, if you have any comment, get back to Bill or all of us, however, so we can get it to Wendy by the deadline. Because I think that's really important with what we're facing here with the Australian ballot and not having a real pre-town meeting and whatever. So, yeah. All righty. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
All righty. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression. I have AMD. It is my vision, so my plan includes Preservision. What if I could buy online at Discount Tire? Have the choice of never leaving my car when I get to the store. You can. Stay safe with our touchless service. So simple. It's genius. Find out more at discounttire.com. Your mission is stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq 3. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack. Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in bladder cells. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq. Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq related. Rinvoq, make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, Abbey may be able to help. To the Index and Dolly Parton with a birthday wish tonight. Parton, who donated $1 million helping to fund vaccine research, turning 75, saying, "This year, my birthday wish is a call for kindness. We can't just hope for a brighter day. We have to work for a brighter day. Love too often gets buried in a world of hurt and fear," she says. So today, January 19th, let's get to unearthing love. In a moment here, the nurse and the song, now seen by a nation tonight. If you have obstructive sleep apnea and you're often tired during the day, you could be missing out on amazing things. Sunosi can help you stay awake for once daily Sunosi improves wakefulness in adults with excessive daytime sleepiness due to obstructive sleep apnea. Sunosi worked for up to 9 hours in 12 weeks in a clinical study. Sunosi does not treat the cause of OSA or take the place of your CPAP. Continue to use any treatments or devices as prescribed by your doctor. Don't take Sunosi if you've taken an MAOI in the last 14 days. Sunosi may increase blood pressure and heart rate, which can increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, heart failure, or death. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure. Sunosi can cause symptoms such as anxiety, problems sleeping, irritability, and agitation. Other common side effects include headache, nausea, and decreased appetite. Tell your doctor if you develop any of these, as your dose may need to be adjusted or stopped. Amazing things happen during the day. Sunosi can help you stay awake for whatever amazes you. Visit Sunosi.com and talk to your doctor about Sunosi today. Your safety is our priority. That's why experts like Kyle